I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to be anybody. I just put up these songs on YouTube, and Zoya happened to see them. And as we were discussing the music and the lyrics, she basically said, "Do you act?" You can hear the mistakes in those songs. You can hear a trumpet in the background playing somewhere. And it's a very innocent time. Zoya took each of our characters and she developed them a little further. She wanted each character to have an arc and for it to be a well-rounded person that's on screen. So I'm not trying to be famous. I'm trying to make good work. So it's not about standing out in a crowd or whatever. It's about making something together. I have to say, was surprised that there was a space for my kind of music in Bollywood. Yeah, I don't know if Zoya hadn't brought me onto this film, I don't think I would have managed to be in Bollywood in any way. There are people who connect with Veronica, there are people who connect with Jughead, there are people who connect with, and that's the fun of an ensemble cast. Me, Suhana, Khushi, and Santana and Dia, who play Midge and Cheryl. So all five of us were the girl gang actually, and Agastya is a big softie. He's a big puppy dog. He just wants to have fun, and he is really welcoming and generous. Vedang is extremely intelligent, and you can have great conversations with him.
Handling one job in your debut project is something very difficult, but my next guest has done multiple jobs, handled multiple hats in her debut film, and it has all turned out pretty perfect, as she is also, and I'm very excited and elated as I'm sitting with the adorable Dot. So firstly, welcome to Bollywood Bubble.
Thank you, thanks for that introduction.
And it's true, like other people were just acting, you were composing, you were singing. There's so much going on. Firstly, in your first project, getting to do so much, was it a little fulfilling? Did it feel a little validating as well? Because there was so much trust shown in you that you could take so many responsibilities.
Absolutely. Zoya put her full faith in me and in all of us, honestly. Validating in the sense of, obviously you don't always want your validation to come externally, but there is something to be said for someone like Zoya to recognize you is quite a.
And you got spotted through YouTube.
Yes.
Yes. Firstly, getting from there to here, it's a very big journey. People don't realize it. How difficult and challenging was it? And firstly, getting recognized, did you feel the first time you got a call or first time you got that message that you have to come and audition, did it feel like a prank?
No, actually that's not how it happened at all. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to be anybody. I just put up these songs on YouTube, and Zoya happened to see them. And the way the call happened, she didn't approach me for the acting at first. She approached me for the music. So she wanted Asymmetrical to be part of the film, and we basically had to do a Zoom call. I was in the UK at the time, in Wales, and we had to do a Zoom call to tweak the lyrics a little bit because it had to fit the film. And as we were discussing the music and the lyrics, she basically said, "Do you act?" And she kind of had this light bulb, and I was like, "Oh gosh, is this real?" And then I auditioned. I went through 2-3 rounds of auditions, and I got it. It was just completely a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting anything like that. I was happy enough for the music to be part of the film. So,
and now that when you're coming with your own album, has it changed the way you are now seeing your music, because the reach of it has now also increased because of the exposure that you have gotten from your acting also?
I don't think it changes the way I see my music. I'm always writing for myself first and foremost. I'm not writing for anybody. The fact that people connect with it is amazing, and I love hearing the stories that people tell me about this song made me feel this way, or I was on my first date, I met my partner when I was listening to your song, or something like that. That's always lovely to hear. But I think as an artist, you have to just focus on the work as much as you can. And so for me, I'm always going to write whatever I want to write, and we'll see how that takes.
Tell us a little about this album. I'm very excited for it. After hearing the songs in Archies, very excited.
Thank you. So this album is called Practice Rooms. It's coming out on the 20th of December, and it's basically actually an old album in a way, because it's a compilation of all those YouTube songs that Zoya discovered and she loved. And I've never put them out on Spotify or on Apple Music. They've only existed on YouTube so far. They're shot on an old Motorola phone, very low quality, very they were shot in my university practice rooms where I used to practice piano and singing and all. You can hear the mistakes in those songs. You can hear a trumpet in the background playing somewhere, it's a very innocent time. It's a very young time for me. I was 17 when I wrote those songs, 17, 18.
I don't think you have grown since then.
Oh, I absolutely have.
You still look like 16, 17. My first thing was child labor, guys.
Oh my gosh. No, I've definitely grown. I think I'm very different than I was when I was young. But I just wanted to respect that time in my life. I wanted to put out an album which was like a time capsule almost of that period. So Practice Rooms is just that, and I've not changed much. It retains those mistakes, it retains that innocence, and it retains the rawness.
And I think that rawness is what's going to connect the most to the people. And that is what a performance in Archies was also all about. Yeah. It is full of that rawness because it's unabashed. Firstly, for you to relate to that character, how was that like? Because because I have not read Archie before, the film. This was my introduction to the world of it. And before this, I knew only 3 names. Archie, Veronica, Betty.
Correct.
But after the film, I got to know so much. Yeah. How was for you to kind of get into that and introduce this character to this new generation?
Yeah, so I mean, Ethel in the comics is very different. She has very similar traits, but she's different in the movie because Zoya took each of our characters and she developed them a little further. She wanted each character to have an arc and for it to be a well-rounded person that's on screen. So in Ethel's case, she's boy crazy, which she's mad after Jughead.
Yeah.
But on screen, she also has this ambition and she's got spunk. She stands up for what she cares about, and she's a good friend. So I definitely see some of that in me for sure. Zoya cast each and every one of us because we had something about us that was like the character. So I just tried to give an honest performance and to trust Zoya's direction, and that's it.
Yeah, and I tell you, this comes out across also very aptly in that scene where you guys are talking about that what is happening in the cafe. Because everyone was talking for someone else, like Betty was talking about her father's shop being shut down. You were the only one who took a stand for yourself, that it's not wrong to dream big, it's not wrong to take step for yourself, and I think that shows the strength of Ethel, and you brought that out very beautifully. But when there are 7 people who are coming together, was there a little apprehension of, because that is a big opportunity, but a little apprehension of getting lost amongst the crowds before you were beginning? Because after it began, you trust the vision of the director. But before that, while signing, while coming on board, was there a little apprehension?
Lost in the crowd? No, because I'm not trying to be famous. I'm trying to make good work, So it's not about standing out in a crowd or whatever. It's about making something together. So I think that's how we all approached it. It was never about attention or whatever. It was just about how can we bring these characters to life? How can we show their relationship and their bond on screen? And that's what we tried to do.
Yeah. But you were all of you were so protected before the film released.
Yes.
You were kept like, I think that added to the mystique of it as well. Because everything was kept under wraps, nothing was, you weren't allowed to, not allowed, but you were not giving out and giving interviews much, or there was not much exposure, and I think that added to the mystique of the characters as well as you all guys as actors. Did it feel a little privilege of that kind that everyone was kind of protecting you?
I mean, I don't know if Zoya hadn't brought me onto this film, I don't think I would have managed to be in Bollywood in any way, because aside from the actual work, which is the filmmaking, there's all this other stuff, right? There's the interviews and the this and the that. And those can be pretty scary, because it's you who's talking, not the character. So it is also a skill, and to learn about how promotions work and all these things, and to not get too fazed by what's going on around you in terms of what, whatever. I think that is something that we developed together over the 2 years that we were filming, and it was a very gentle introduction into Bollywood, and I think I really appreciate that, because we protected and cared for, I suppose, by Zoya, and she cared for our mental health and our well-being, and that That I agree.
She took
Greatly
care of you
appreciate.
like babies, her own babies. That is so true, and it was visible because I had come for the trailer that they were showing us, and she was so protective and she was so confident and proud
Yeah.
of you all, and that showed in the way she spoke about you all.
Yeah.
And it was just so loving to see that. But when the reviews came in and people's opinions came in, it wasn't ki Archie's cast performed as such. You were singled out and talked about that Dot has performed so well. When in an ensemble cast your name comes out in a good way, does it feel a little sense of that maybe what I'm doing is right? Did it feel special?
Honestly, I think everybody has gotten
Yeah.
a good response here and there, and you know what the thing about ensemble cast is
Yeah.
that everybody gets appreciated differently, right? And in something like an Archies, I feel like there are people who connect with Veronica, there are people who connect with Jughead, there are people who
Yeah.
connect with, and that's the fun of an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
So, and my mum and I were talking about this actually, that in an ensemble, when different people are connecting, that
Yeah.
is the goal, because you're trying to represent a different kind of person, right, in
Yeah.
each character. So there's this whole thing of I'm a Jughead, I'm a Betty, I'm a whatever, and that really came across. And with me, I didn't really feel singled out. I just I was lucky to have been doing the
Yeah.
music as well as the acting. That was something that was quite special for
Yeah.
me. But honestly, this whole thing is about teamwork, and
It's
so-
it boasts about teamwork.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
talking of teamwork, how was the bonding between you, Suhana, and Khushi, like the girl gang of the film?
It was lovely. Me, Suhana, Khushi, and Santana and Dia,
Yeah.
who play Midge and Cheryl.
Ah.
So all five of us were the girl gang actually, and we did skating together, just us, right? Because the
Yeah.
boys weren't in that. They didn't have to skate. So we spent a lot of time on the skating grounds, falling on our butts and having a laugh. And you know, later we'd meet up for coffee or go to someone's house and talk about it.
Yeah.
So that was really special.
And amongst the boys, like who did you had the best equation with off screen as well?
I think everybody in different ways, and of course throughout the two-year period, you gravitate towards different people at different times of your life.
Yeah.
Also, that also happens. They're all very unique. Mihir is very sensitive,
Yeah.
and he's someone I really respect because of his journey from
Yeah.
from where to where. And Agastya is a big softie. He's a big puppy dog. He just wants to have fun, and he is really welcoming and generous. Vedang is extremely intelligent, and you can have great conversations with him, and he's very curious about the world. So that's fun to have a conversation with someone like that. And of course, Yuvraj is such a brave guy, doing something at such a young age and just going for it like that. To have the confidence to do that, and he's wise beyond his years, is
Yeah,
what we always say.
Talking of Yuvraj, like my favorite scene in the film is that scene in the bedroom with Yuvraj and Vedang.
We all felt that. We all
That
felt
scene, I think even Karan Johar, when he mentioned one scene you
Yeah.
had me in tears, I am sure he was
It was
talking about
that
that
scene,
scene
yeah,
because
yeah.
there is so much authenticity and
Yeah.
innocence in that scene,
Yeah.
and speaks about friendship
Yeah.
more than anything
More
else.
than
That
anything.
friendship overcomes anything, and I think
Yeah.
you guys have built that friendship over the years.
Yeah.
But going forward, now that the appreciation has come in and now a recognition has also come in, is it getting a little bit more challenging to manage music and acting together, or where's your primary focus is like right now?
Yeah, it is challenging. Time is a limited resource, and your brain also has to function.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, yeah, there are so many hours in a day, but I
Yeah.
also need to rest and relax. So there is a bit of a juggling game between the two. But I think as a creative, you always want to and that's the fun thing about being an actor.
Yeah.
Also, every time you play a new character, you kind of end up learning a new skill. I'm guessing. This is my guess because I'm still only done one film. Yeah, so I think you always want to explore new things, and music and acting are similar in a lot of ways, but very different in a lot of ways. So it's just the excitement keeps you going, I think. Yeah.
It is an art form, so there
Yeah.
will be always similarity. But
Yeah.
actually, you have done so well managing both things, because when I was reading, it was your voice behind Khushi's Betty, the diary section. and it felt so because it suited her so well. You couldn't guess that it was actually someone else.
Yeah, she did a great job of bringing it to life.
And seeing someone's face, because till now, whatever on YouTube came, it was your face or it was your voice only there. Seeing someone else's face on your voice was a little weird in the beginning. Weird.
No, I mean for me as well, I came for all of those scenes, you know. It wasn't my scene, but I wanted to watch it because it's so special that your work is on screen in that way, in a completely different way than you ever imagined that your music would be. And I was surprised, I have to say, that you know, there was a space for my kind of music in Bollywood, because it's not like a dance number or anything like that. It's so introspective, and it's like a theme that goes throughout.
True.
So that was Zoya, right? Because she had this idea that she wanted Betty's diaries to be part of the her tracking her mind almost. And it's fun when somebody else gives you a challenge, you know, because when you're writing music, you're just doing whatever you want, and there are no restrictions. But this is like someone had an idea, and I had to be the instrument to bring that to life. So that was very cool to experience.
Like you had to keep everything a secret for 2 years. Was it difficult hanging out with your real life friends at that time? Like, I can't tell you, there's a lot happening, but I can't.
Actually, the funniest whole thing about this was that Tejas, who plays Archie's voice, he's a friend of mine. In the music community, we're all friends. So it was very funny because we met after many years, and he sort of went, what are you working on? I said, I'm working on a film, can't really tell you much about it. And he also said, I said, what are you working on? He said, yeah, I'm also working on a film, it's an adaptation. We both were like, are you working on the Archies by any chance? And we were like, oh my god, we're working on the same film, but we weren't talking about it because we were scared of breaking the internet.
You know, I know, we know, let's end it here. But there were so many big names attached to it behind the screen. Was it like Zoya in itself is a big brand of her own?
Correct.
Did in the beginning a little bit of intimidation also came in because you were in the presence of such royalties?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, these are legends we're talking about, and obviously when you're in the presence of people who have dedicated their life to a craft and come to the stage that they're in, it is awe-inspiring. I just focused, instead of getting debilitated by it, I just focused on learning from her and learning from all the people that I met while doing this whole process. And I think the common thing between everybody was just that, you know, there's a lot, see, in film there's so many other things, right? There are these extra things other than the work that you're doing that you have to think about. But Zoya's razor focused on the job at hand, on the task at hand, and she's present from start to finish. You know, in any place that maybe, I don't know whether all directors are like this, but with Zoya, I found that to be very special. And what she's done for me and what people along the way have taught me is that you really have to be present at each step of the way. The art is just as important to the music as anything, you know. And so yeah, just seeing the thing as a whole picture and to focus on individual details along the way.
But you have done amazingly on screen, off screen, because your contribution to the film has been so immense, and I think that is why the album that you are also coming out with, people are excited about it because you gave them a lot of relatability in the sense that there's so much you are doing. And I think that speaks a lot about your capabilities, about your potential. I'm sure it's going to be explored very soon. Have you signed anything yet again?
Not yet.
It's going to happen, I'm sure about that. But Dot, I have to say, it has been a great pleasure to see you on screen, to hear your music. And I'm so happy that it's going to get a reach. Your music is going to get such a wider audience after Archies, and I'm sure it's going to get a lot of laurels, a lot of appreciation, and I'm sure it's going to grow wider and wider.
Thank you.
And getting to know you a little bit through this conversation has been a pleasure.
Thank
you so much for giving me this chance. Thank you for giving me this conversation. Hope you had a good time.
I did. Thank you for having me. Hi, this is Dot, and you're watching me on Bollywood Bubble.